we go. Let's start. Hopefully I got the right link open. Welcome. Episode 23 of CJ Squared tonight. I'm here with Joey and Chris, my boys. Pretty soon we have our own fantasy show. We have our own football. We have everything, right? We just run it. Like we already told you that CJ Squared is everywhere. We about to be like an infection. It's gonna be everywhere.
Mask up.
That's
Life
right.
will be normal with the infection that we're gonna spread.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Mask
better.
up now.
We're talking about, we're talking about, we spread like a virus, but we, you know what I'm saying? So we're not COVID-19. We're gonna be that good virus, that good info virus, info 19.
Absolutely.
All right, but so tonight, everybody, we're here to do our last previews for the NFC and AFC West. Of course, the NFL season starts tomorrow.
Big
we
night.
got my boys from Dallas playing the Tampa Bay Bucks. Should be an entertaining game. And then the first week of the season, man, we got fantasy going on. We got college pick'em. We got survival pools.
All over the place.
Everything, man. We like the Hawks. We everywhere.
Hawks shooting.
We got shooters everywhere, right? They everywhere. Okay, and so man, and last but not least, man, we always here to have all kinds of fun, man. That's the most important part. Hopefully, you're having fun. If you're playing fantasy sports and you're not having fun, don't play fantasy sports. Win or lose, just don't play. You shouldn't be playing if it's not fun to you. If it's controlling your life and you feel like you're going to be mad, don't play fantasy sports. Because you can't win it all. You can't. It doesn't work that way. It's fantasy. All right, you have no control. You set it, and then you sleep like a baby. Right, let it go. Right, let it go. All right. Anyway, so first up, we got the NFC West. This dude right here, Joey, gonna pose the questions. Me and Chris gonna let the answers fly, and we're gonna keep it moving. What's up, Joey? Hit him up.
Okay, millions. Let's get things going. Burning questions within the NFC West. Get your pads and your writing utensils ready. First burning question. Is Kliff Kingsbury going to be a good enough coach to lead the Arizona Cardinals to playoff victories? Let's start with you, Chris.
So, I think with Kingsbury, the thing is that he's a new guy. Everyone was hyping him up to be this big, kind of dynamic offense type guy. And then he's come in and they're just all right. I think he didn't use Hopkins that well. And I saw Fantasy Pros ranked him as the 25th best coach in all of football. So, but I think his growth is going to go along with Kyler Murray's. If Kyler Murray can kind of continue to grow, and then I think his will start to also. He definitely has to use Hopkins in a different way, get him way more involved, But I think Rondale Moore should be, decent there. I think they've got some weapons.
Boy. Rondale Moore. Remember our draft show? He had Rondale Moore going in the first round.
Yeah,
I didn't forget. I keep my receipts. I keep them.
I would say it's not, to me, I think he's going to go kind of how Kyler Murray goes. If Kyler Murray can turn into not just like a fantasy guy, but an actual, legit type of winning quarterback, or is he just going to be a Lamar Jackson who, can light it up, but then, can't really, I'm saying in the sense of Lamar Jackson, where he lights up the season fantasy numbers, but when you get into playoffs, he kind of lays the dud.
Plays the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Or the Bills.
And we were talking about earlier that this is one of the toughest divisions in football, and they've been all right in that division. They were 8-8. So to me, I don't think that it's really on him. I think it's going to be on Murray to kind of be the guy, and the growth is just going to go based on Murray. And I think he'll be all right, but I don't think he's Sean McVay. I think that's what everyone was thinking he would be. I don't think he's that level yet.
Copycat league, huh?
So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my 2 cents on this. The jury is definitely still out, even though Chris said they're doing okay in that division. Last year, they had a great opportunity to take a step forward and kind of slide into the playoffs. They finished 8-8. If it wasn't for a miraculous Hopkins catch against the Bills, they would have finished 7-9. Kliff Kingsbury in 2 years with Kyler Murray now is 13-18-1. The jury is still out. What you gonna do? I mean, I don't know. Like last year, they had Kyler running crazy, running around, doing all this running, and then he got hit, got hurt, and then you saw his production fall off in on the field and on in terms of fantasy as well. So for me, I think the jury is still out. I think he's in a tough division. If he doesn't step it up soon, he could be out the door. And like Chris said, I think his success and Kyler Murray's success are both tied to each other, right? If Kyler Murray can step his game up and be consistent and not just be a flash in the pan player, then they have a good chance. But they're in a tough division. So, I mean, he's not even the best quarterback in his division. So, Kyler Murray. So, it's going to be tough, but the jury is still out.
I will piggyback the both of you, Chris and JB. They are tied at the hip. Kyler Murray and Kliff Kingsbury. This is what needs to happen. Kyler Murray had 3 phenomenal games that they need to build on last year. Week 5, let me read this stat line to you. Week 5, a win against the Jets. I know the Jets were awful. 27 of 37, 380 yards, a touchdown, 1 pick, 9 rushing attempts, 31 yards, 1 touchdown. Win.
The Jets.
Week 8 coming out of the bye where they were actually 5-3. Kyler plays extremely well. 21 of 26, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 11 rushing attempts, 100 yards, and a TD. He balled out. Week 15 against the sorry Eagles. 27 of 36, 406 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 8 attempts, 29 yards, 1 touchdown. The thing in those 3 games, the ball was pushed down the field by him. He averaged over 10 yards per passing attempt in those 3 games. All of the other games is less than that. The whole season, his average was 7 yards per attempt downfield. They got to push the ball down the field so they can open things up for him.
That's
so
all.
is that a Kliff Kingsbury thing or a Kyler Murray thing?
That's a
Kingsbury thing. That's
okay.
the Kingsbury thing.
But Rondale Moore is probably the fastest player on the team. The fastest player on the team is a kid from Massachusetts, Andy Isabella, who don't play. He's probably faster than everybody.
Yeah,
we'll see what Rondale Moore figure it out. Kliff better.
Was he a second-round pick too? The kid from Massachusetts. It's like a second. He was a high draft pick. He's a second or third round. He had like 4.2, 4.25 speed.
White receiver. So white receiver that's fast as.
No white boys can run.
Oh my goodness! I'm not even touching that one. Okay,
let the white guy touch that one.
Yeah.
Before we go to the next question, how about this? If Kliff Kingsbury can't get it done, maybe his twin brother Chris Kingsbury can get it done. Let's go to the next question.
Dang it, Kliff.
Let's bring in Chris Kingsbury. All right.
I'll see it when I believe it.
That's right, Davey. I'll see it when you believe it. All right, let's go to
my goodness.
San Francisco 49ers. Do the 49ers, who are 2 years removed from going to the Super Bowl, have what it takes to make another run with Trey Lance being in the plans of possibly being the starter? JB, what you say about this?
Okay, so first of all, didn't they make the Super Bowl with Jimmy G as the quarterback? And second of all, can the 49ers actually stay healthy? Because I swear, every year That Super Bowl year, they're a talented team, right? They got talent on both sides. I don't know about their defensive corners this year because they did lose Sherman, and the other guy I believe is a guy they have that has some surgeries. I gotta look. I gotta research this a little bit more about them cornerbacks. But they do. They have the talent to challenge for. Hold on for a second. Now, I just got to pause for a second because I got a text from Hot Rod saying, "Hold on, am I supposed to be on the show tonight? Did I not, Rodney? Did I not send you the link for tonight to your email?"
What is going on?
College picks. Did I not send you this, bro?
Come on.
Anyway, as I was saying, and by the way, the hot one called the CJ Squared Friends and Family League a gimmick league because of the Superflex.
Ooh.
Talking
I
trash.
thought the same thing, but anyway. So let's just continue. Let's continue on what we're saying about the 49ers. Yes, they can make it with Jimmy G. I think Trey Lance can add an extra dimension to the team. But remember, he will still be a rookie, right? And what rookie has led their team to a Super Bowl championship as a QB? Can y'all name one?
None.
Huh? All right.
None.
I know there is a Chris laughed at that LOL when I talk about Rod. So no, there is no way that I believe they have a better chance of making it to the big dance with Jimmy G at the helm than they do with Trey Lance. That's what I believe.
Chris?
I'm with JB. I don't think they should make that change unless it's a lost season because that defense is ready to win now. I mean, they got players all over on that defense. Now you've signed you have Trent all over. Trent Williams is there. I mean, you pay him big money. He's old, so you're not going to have a lot of time. So they're in win now mode, and I think Garoppolo gives them that. If you take Lance, I think you're taking a step back in order to take a couple steps forward, and they don't necessarily need that right now. And I think Garoppolo, we saw, he led them there. He can't necessarily stay healthy, so that's going to be the biggest thing. But being healthy, they said they're 22-8 over the past 4 seasons with Garoppolo, and with him in there, they're the 4th ranked offense. Without him, they're the 27th ranked offense. So, to me, why would you necessarily go away from him unless you're forced to with an injury or something like that? Just let Lance sit. Yeah. We know maybe the ceiling is higher with Lance, but right now the floor is lower, and they're in win now mode. They're in a good spot, kind of like Green Bay was when Rutgers came in, where you got
in Kansas City when they got Mahomes.
With that, where you don't need to rush a guy. You're in a team that can win and compete in the division. Your defense is excellent, and I think Ayuk and Samuels, they've got playmakers on the outside. They've got running backs, but again, they can't stay healthy. But I think they can win. I think they actually could. It's just I don't think you necessarily need to go to Lance right now.
No, with the 49ers, it does not matter who the number is in the backfield.
Oh, yeah.
Their scheme is what matters for them.
That's a classic Shanahan there.
Yeah. Whoever you put in that backfield will put up numbers. They will put up numbers.
It was funny in fantasy. Every week, somebody would be trying to pick up a San Francisco. Whoever was going to go, I got to pick Jeff Wilson. I got to pick
I had him last 2 weeks. He went off.
Every week. It was that was how I remember Denver used to be with his dad.
Yep.
It was
Orlando's
Gary, let me get that guy. It was
same kind of deal. And once again, Rodney, we do college picks. Not pro picks.
Hot one.
Come on, man. I told you the college picks.
He's cooling down right now. Man,
come on, man. He said college or pro. What?
He's I'm just waking up. He's just getting up.
Okay. All right. So where we at? What's the next question?
Well, Joey's got to touch on.
This is going to be quick. I'm going to piggyback off of the both of you.
Oh, another piggyback.
49ers can win without. Yes, 49ers can win without Trey Lance playing. Matter of fact, I mean, I think we pretty much know that Jimmy G is probably going to be cut during the off season. I believe
traded or something.
He's due for 2022 also. He's 27 million on the books, but if they do cut him, I believe dead money that they owe that would be on the books is only like $2 million. He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. So they might as well squeeze every little bit that they can get out of him.
Dead man walking.
Just squeeze. And with squeeze. Let's go to the next one. NFC West. Let's go to the LA Rams. Will Matt Stafford stick to having a good year? Oh, excuse me. What type of year do we expect from Matthew Stafford, JB? You go at this first.
First again. I think Matthew Stafford could have a career year. I mean, he's with his best offensive-minded coach. I mean, when he had his biggest years, all he did was throw the ball to Megatron, throw it up, right? He still had good years when he didn't have Megatron. I mean, he's going to have a better coach. He has good receivers. I mean, you know, Deshaun Jackson is of course, he's a dark horse in that receiver core. But Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods are two quality receivers. They're like A1. Think about Rodney. Got me all chewed up. 1A and 1B. He's going to have a decent tight end. And more than anything, he's going to have a good defense. So when you got a good defense, guess what? You can be conservative, but you can also let it fly knowing that your defense got your back. Right? So you don't have as much fear as you playing when your defense is garbage and then you're scared that you got to be perfect on every play and everything you do. So I think he can have a great year. Matter of fact, I drafted him in one of my leagues. So you know what I'm saying? I think he's going to have a good year. I've heard all the projections. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. Good arm. I mean, what flaws does he have? His biggest flaw to me is he hasn't won a playoff game. Right? Yeah. That's it. I mean, besides that, the dude can put up numbers. He can do it all. He just got to get it. I think this year be the first year that I predict that this will be the first year he wins a playoff game. I think it's guaranteed. They will win at least one playoff game with him at quarterback this year. So I project, at least 4,000 yards passing.
Ooh.
Now I don't know about the touchdowns, but I'm going with, because I mean, think about the running backs they got. They don't have Akers no more. They brought in Sonny Michel. They got Darrell Henderson. I think they're going to lean on the pass a little bit more than the run this year because of that. I mean, McVay had Goff. Goff put up numbers with McVay. So compare the two, right? I think that he can have a big year. It's a good possibility.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm with JV again. I think with
what's going on?
Man, all of us. Yeah, I think he lights it up there just because, I mean, he had to get out of the dumpster fire of Detroit and how bad they were. And actually, I mean, he's played with Calvin Johnson, but then he didn't necessarily have a team like this that could run the ball, that could, last year, I think that I saw they were one of the better running teams with McVay. McVay is probably kind of the offensive genius of the last 5 or 6 years, as far as the way that other guys are trying to mold what he's doing. I saw that they passed 55% on first down, which is 5th most, and that was with Goff. So I would imagine if you got a guy who's a gunslinger, they're going to be, passing even more. McVay finished third. He's finished since he's been there 3 times. He's been in the top 10 offenses in the league. And also, Goff was the 2nd worst starter under pressure. Stafford was the 7th best. So you're talking about a guy who's coming in. That's a massive difference.
For Detroit.
Yeah. So, and you got a team that can run the ball, weapons. You've got weapons. So to me, I'm with JB. I think they win a playoff game, and I think he lights it up. And I wouldn't be surprised if he throws for over 4,000. I mean, he's always been a guy who's been more of a fantasy guy than he's always puts up hollow numbers. And so this will be the first year. He's still got a cannon of an arm, and there's not really a throw he can't make. He's just a guy like JB, who said, who's never won, so he just doesn't get that credit that some of these other guys get. But it's not, I don't necessarily know if it's a talent thing. I mean, you see he leaves, and we'll see what Detroit is without him. We already know they're probably going to win 3 to 4 games. So, yeah, to me, I think he's going to light it up. So
the under on Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, it's, what do we think? 4 under 4, I think we were saying. So
yeah.
Take it.
What you got?
70.
Joey?
He's played 75% of his seasons. He's thrown for 4,000 yards. 8 of his 12 seasons, he's thrown for 4,000 yards. He has a veteran offense, got veteran guys, he's got an outstanding coach. Matt Stafford is sort of like, I think McVay wants to give him the keys to the offense. When he gave the keys to the offense to Jonathan Goff, it's like a 16-year-old that's starting to drive.
Jeff Goff there. Jeff Goff, buddy. Not Jonathan Goff, but.
Excuse me, Jeff.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Yeah, you just said Jeff Goff. Yeah, Jared Goff. You got me chewed up too. I'm like, what the heck?
Who is this Goff? That we're already over him.
Jonathan, Jeff, and Jared.
Who is this
Goff
everything. Jay Goff.
Triplets.
Oh, Jeff Goff.
Jeff Goff. That's right.
Jay Goff.
That's how much he's irrelevant to us.
Yeah, we got his name already. He's
been irrelevant since he stunk it up in that Super Bowl. My goodness.
Freaking Jeff Goff.
He's like a 16-year-old driving, and the parents send out that 16-year-old like, oh my God, should we really give him the actual keys? That's what McVay was like too, Goff. But now he's got an 18-year-old and 19-year-old driving for a little bit. McVay's like, look, we're gonna go on this road trip. We're gonna let you drive the entire way. That's what this is. That's what this is like. Okay. McVay is very happy. Let's go to go on, JB.
No, didn't Matthew Stafford? I was listening to the radio the other day, and they were talking about how Matthew Stafford was one of the guys who threw for over 5,000 yards.
Yes, he
has. I think he's one of the. I think he did it twice, right? Did he do it twice?
He's thrown for 5,000 yards once. He almost did it the next year. He was actually 33 yards.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, he could have some big production.
That was a great season that he had. 41 touchdowns, 16 only 16 picks. That was a great year. Let's go to the last burning question of the NFC East.
Burning question.
What will the Seahawks offense look like this year? Chris, where you going here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of a tale of 2 seasons last year when you had early on, remember everyone was like, oh, let Russ cook, and
let Russ cook. Let him cook.
Everybody was talking about how, I mean, he was an MVP guy for most of the first half of the season. Lockett, which JB has made well known, had a ridiculous first half, and he fell off kind of when Wilson did. I think, for them, remember Metcalf was even complaining that teams are starting to recognize that what they wanted to do as far as just, throw it deep to him and just chuck it in. So I think for them, they were putting up, again, kind of those hollow numbers of they're putting up these huge stats, but teams were starting to figure them out. And once you do that in the NFL, once someone figures you out, you now have to be the team that adjusts. And then that's what it is, that cat and mouse game. And I don't think that they were really able to change what they wanted to do. Then you heard Russ was starting to get upset and wanting to trade and all these kind of things. So for me, I think they should be more balanced. They don't need to necessarily, with Metcalf, I think becoming just a better all-around guy, he's not going to necessarily need to be just an over-the-top guy. if Carson can stay healthy, is going to be huge because that dude, he's really good when he's in. He just cannot stay healthy for a full season. So I think if they don't rely on Wilson to be maybe that MVP guy, but maybe a step down, and you get production from the run game, and you already know you got playmakers on the outside. It looks like Gerald Everett. They're hoping for big things from him. So I think the offense should be more balanced this year and not have to have Wilson playing at an MVP level. You know, there's not many teams that can do that, and maybe other than what Green Bay and Kansas City, and just rely on that one guy. And, you know, that's just tough to do in this league. You know, you rely on that. So I think they got to be more balanced and hope that Carson can stay healthy. I think that's the key. If Carson can stay healthy, I think that's the big thing, you know.
JB?
Kliff must have drafted Carson in a few leagues or something. So that's
come on.
So I you know, some of the stuff Chris said, yeah, I agree with him. He did leave out Josh Allen, not Jeff Allen, but Josh Allen from Buffalo. They'll leave him out. He's another guy that last year seemed to carry a team without a run game. I mean, if for Seattle, I was reading up, right? Because, you know, I had to read up for the last minute. I had to leave. What is going to be different about the Seattle offense? And I've heard stuff from the radio on how they're going to have more crossing patterns, more balance. They're not going to have Russ holding the ball for a long time, getting the ball out of his hand more quickly. I always thought that he holds the ball for a long time because the shorter guy, so he waits to he can look over the line and throw those long, I don't know what they call them. I forgot the name they call them, you know, but he throws them high in the air, they come down, they drop like missiles or whatever. But you know, your dimes.
Oh, you got your dimes.
Got your dimes in the club, got your dimes. But anyway, you gotta watch the old shows, man. We got all kinds of stuff over here. Like the dimes. If you go back and watch that one, man, you're gonna die laughing. But I mean, the new coordinator is Shane Waldron. They said, you know, I read up, they said that just gonna get rid of the ball quicker routes. They probably want to be more balanced. At one time, they were more of a running team. And, you know, now I guess they're trying to find balance. In the NFL, a balanced offense is more like 55-45 or 60-40 pass run, right? I mean, only a few teams are like the Cleveland Browns or the Ravens who are run heavy, and they still about 55-45, right? When it comes to passing and running. So, I mean, we'll see. Chris Carson, yeah, he's going to be a key. They got a decent tight end. They got Everett in there, who I've been hearing a lot of good things about from the reporters, from listening to the radio and reading up on it. So we'll see. Russ is going to put up numbers regardless. And, you know, his receivers, are they going to be more, you know, crossing route guys or just deep threats? We'll see, right? To get that working, though, like Chris said, you really have to be able to establish that run and get that play action going.
Oh, Chris Carson. Joey, let me give you this one stat. So since he's come in the league, Russell Wilson's has 394 sacks. Well, he's been sacked 394 times. That's 69 more than everybody else.
Yeah.
So is that coming from him playing behind a poor offensive line, or maybe him holding the ball too long, you know?
Hold the ball, because remember, when Russ is out there, he turns into he more than anybody, maybe the next person is Mahomes, turns into a playground mode. He'll run around and back up and just do all kind of crazy behind the line and throw the ball. Yeah. Right. He does that on a regular basis. And I mean, it's just it's not really efficient. And sooner or later, you're going to pay the price for it. But, you know, like you said, he's getting sacked, and he plays in a division that has good pass rusher with the Rams and the 49ers and the Cardinals. The Cardinals have Watt, and they have Chandler Jones back, and they have Riddick. So holding that ball against those guys is not going to be good for his health.
Which is weird, because the best two quarterbacks of our generation, the last, 15, 20 years, Brady and Manning, those two dudes never, Aaron Rodgers, even those three guys really never hold the ball. They just go another down. You know what I mean?
They see you open, you're getting it.
Yeah. And then if it's not there, then I'll play I'll live to play another down. So It's weird that, those three that they haven't picked that up.
Well, but also to Russ's defense, those three,
they can't run,
except for Rodgers, weren't really the best athletes.
True. I mean, those guys, you don't want them running.
You know what I'm saying? They're running around. It's
yeah. I mean,
like David Carr when he got drafted by the Houston Texans.
Poor guy.
That's how that was. He got slaughtered, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could say like that you don't want those guys running as it is. I mean, that's painful. Watching.
All right, Joey, what you got to say about it, Joey?
Chris and JB. The year was 1859.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Charles Dickens came out with a bestseller, A Tale of Two Cities. We fast forward 161 years later in Seattle. A Seattle bestseller comes out called A Tale of Two Seasons. The author is Pete Carroll. Because Seattle was rolling and doing whatever they wanted on offense at the first half of the season, and then all of a sudden the offensive line forgot how to block, and as you all said, Russell Wilson was sacked 47 times. And weren't they crapping on the Seattle defense the first half of the season? As the season went on, the Seattle defense actually got pretty good. Hence the Tale of Two Seasons, written by Pete Carroll. Let me remind everybody about the playoff game that they hosted against the Los Angeles Rams. Russell Wilson was sacked 5 times. He was 11 of 27, 1 interception, 12.7 QBR. That's one of maybe his worst game he's ever played in. Maybe his worst game. As the season went on, his yards per attempt going down the field shrunk. It got lower every game. So they better fix their offense, or they're going to see the same thing happen to them.
Yes. So their defense at the end of the season only gave up 16.2 points a game with the final 8 games. So the defense pretty much saved them. But it is what it is. We'll see. That's a tough division. Now for the over and unders. Go ahead. And by the way, just so before we go to the over and unders, so I get an email from my boy Hot, text message. He said, you didn't send it to me. You must have sent it. You didn't text it or email. I said, well, did you check your email for a calendar invite? Oh, it's still in my email.
We're with you, Rod. We're with you here. We're with you there because
it's still in my email. Yeah. So my bad for trying to use technology efficiently.
Yeah, just
okay.
All right. Send it with a pigeon.
Come on, Hot One.
All right.
All right, let me get on these. Let me get on these over-unders. All right, so San Francisco, we got the win totals. San Francisco's 10.5. Joey, what do you got? Over/under.
Over.
Jeez.
All right, JB.
Under.
I'm taking
the under.
I'm taking the under also.
All righty.
Rams, Joey, 10.5.
Under.
I'm taking the over.
Over.
Me and JB in sync right now. All right, Cardinals, 8.5. Joey?
Under.
I'm taking the over.
Over.
Seahawks, 9.5.
Over.
I'm taking the over.
I got the over on that one as well.
Oh.
We got three playoff teams coming out of here.
That's a heck of a division right there. They're just going to beat each other up.
3 playoff.
All right, now we got to go to the division winner. So it looks like me and JB are going to have Rams. I'll take the Rams. JB, you probably got the Rams also.
The Rams.
Joey, who you got? You'll throw out something ridiculous.
49ers.
Joey has the Niners. Okay, good. All right.
I can see that though. That wouldn't be a surprise, I don't think.
Yeah. All right. So what? We got the AFC
They got the
West
best coaches.
next.
Yeah, JB, you want to hit us with?
Oh yes, I do.
questions?
AFC West. I mean, AFC West. Do we already know who's winning this division? Is it a foregone conclusion? So even though it's a foregone conclusion, we still have some burning questions. And this first question is definitely for my man Joe. Can the Chargers, with their second-year QB, Justin Herbert, take the next step with your boy at the helm?
Chris and JB, I will bring it up again. I'll see it when I believe it. Yes, I am hating. I do think that the Chargers can definitely take the next step. Herbert can clearly play, even though I still want to see it before I believe it. They sort of have, is this a situation where they sort of have weapons everywhere? They have a lot of freaking weapons all over the place. My goodness. And not to mention, they did the right thing and wanting to protect their commodity at quarterback by drafting who I thought was the best offensive lineman in the draft, Rashawn Slater. He magically fell to them, which made no sense.
Like the Bengals. Why did the Bengals do that? I don't know.
Oh, goodness. Hey, I mean, they clearly want to protect the commodity of the most important position on the football club. That's what they definitely did. They're going to keep him standing up. I think the Chargers can definitely take the next step with the person I hate on being the quarterback of this football club.
Oh, man. Okay. All right.
I do hate. Yes. I am a hater. I'll see it when I believe it.
Everybody, if your mind was just blown just now, sit back and think about that statement. He will see it when he believes it. Just think about it. Just let that soak into your system. All right. So, Chris, what do you think, Chris? Will the Chargers take the next step?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Eckler, who I don't have in fantasy, but I think him staying healthy is going to be huge. Herbert put up one of the best rookie seasons we've seen. I mean, he's in like that RG3, Wilson, his rookie, like those.
Don't give him the RG3 curse.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that rookie year he killed it. So I mean, he was 13th last year in QB rating. He's got the same weapons back, and plus you would hope with Eckler coming back, being healthy, that's going to help him a ton because he's such a pass catcher. So it's a new offensive coordinator. So to me, I mean, I think last year they didn't necessarily lean on him to have to be. They were 15th in offensive DVOA, which is an efficiency metric. So I think to me that's they're middle of the road, and he still puts up a good season. He is just definitely going to improve, and the fact that they get left tackle, they bring in a left tackle in. They've got Jared Cook now, who is always a guy who can make stuff happen. So he's got more weapons, like Joey said, all around. I think that to me, they definitely are going to take that next step. So
the question was, can they take the next step? Of course, they got rid of Anthony Lynn. Oh my God. He went to Detroit. What does that tell you?
He
right?
His own
so
stuff.
I think the key for the Chargers is not really their offense; it's their defense. Every year over the last 2 or 3 years, Derwin James has come in thinking he's going to have a big year, a great player. He gets hurt every year. Right, every year he gets hurt. I know because Chris drafted him as his I think you, or was it you who picked him up as your DB?
As my DB, yeah.
Yeah, I picked him up as a DB in another league, right?
You had him. I think. Did you have him last year?
Yeah.
You had him you drafted him, and then he got hurt.
He got hurt. Hurt week 1 or something like that. And then Joey Bosa, who is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. I mean, they got some good linebackers. They got the kid from Oklahoma last year, Murray. They got some real decent cornerbacks. if their defense can step up, they have a chance to be better. Without Anthony Lynn running the team, they have a great chance to be better. So, and that, I mean, that's what's, they have a chance. Now, will they be better than Kansas City? Without injuries, probably not. Okay. All right. So, and good segue to the next question. Chris, with a revamped offensive line, will that be enough for the Chiefs to get back to the Super Bowl?
Well, when you got Mahomes, I don't necessarily think that he, like we talked about, there's not many guys who can do it. He's one of a few, and he's shown that, because even last year that the offensive line was good up until it wasn't, with injuries, and they just once it mattered most, they lost Fisher, Schwartz was gone, so with injuries. So I think they went out, they got a whole new starting lineup and depth as far as in the offensive line. To me, he's a guy who depth was the biggest issue. And I think with Mahomes, we've seen that he doesn't necessarily need a great offensive line to make plays. Even in the Super Bowl, he almost won it on his own with having zero time making ridiculous plays back there. So to me, if they're just okay, when you have that guy in your corner, I think the biggest thing for them is going to be who's going to step up on the outside other than Hill and Kelsey. I think they struggle there as a second, will Hardman step up or somebody like that. But as far as can they get there with that offensive line, for sure, I think, you just got that guy in your corner. He's almost Superman, So I think, yeah, for sure. Joey?
I'd like to ask a question. I know that the Chiefs traded for Orlando Brown, who was, I believe, a first-round pick for Baltimore, correct? And Orlando Brown played right tackle for Baltimore, and he's going to play left tackle for Kansas City. And Orlando Brown was I'm sure he was probably a All-American when he played for Oklahoma. But Baltimore knows that the road to the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City in the AFC. So why would Baltimore trade probably someone that could be an All-Pro on paper? Why would they trade him to one of the teams that they have to go through? Is there something wrong with Orlando Brown?
You think it's fishy?
That's just odd. Someone must know something. Someone must know something. So maybe that is a question mark on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, they're going to start arguably a rookie, Lucas Nang, who played right tackle for TCU, did not allow a sack in any of his starts. I believe 28, 29 games. He'll be the right tackle, but this is going to be a welcome to the NFL moment. He didn't play last season because of COVID. So we're going to have to wait and find out to see what is going on. Of course, you got to protect Superman. Superman needed help, clearly. Superman needed help. So something doesn't seem something doesn't seem right here.
Okay. So all right. So for me, I definitely believe they can. They got Mahomes, right? I think that they got some good challenges this year. I'm looking at, you got Buffalo, you got Cleveland. They get to Cleveland week 1, right? So that young rookie gets to see two really good in rushers and those guys from Cleveland. Of course, you got the Titans, who added Julio Jones, and you got the Ravens. I think all those teams could challenge Kansas City, and all of those teams except Buffalo got one thing in common. They want to run the rock.
They do.
Right? And if you look at the game last year, Super Bowl, the Bucks, even though Mahomes out there doing his thing and Braves having a good game, they were running the rock with Fournette and Jones, eating some clock up, right? Because you want to give Mahomes the least amount of opportunities to score on you, because if you give him opportunities, he's gonna get you. You can't stop that guy forever. You can't hold him down. So those teams definitely have a chance. All right. So next question. Will Von Miller return to the old Von Miller and make this Denver Bronco defense dominant? I know they will week 1 against those G-men, but anyway, Joey, what do you think?
Von Miller will not return to the old Von Miller. It's too much. Too much wear and tear. He's never going to go back there, which is fine. They don't need him to. He doesn't need to be, well, they like him to, but he's just not going to get to that level. He's probably not even the best defensive player on that starting 11 right now. The Broncos, maybe the middle linebacker. Chubb, maybe.
Chubb is the middle linebacker. He's the other end.
Excuse me. The other end. I think it actually might be him getting. He can probably get to the quarterback a little bit better. I mean, he is younger. Von Miller's 30, 32, 33. Von Miller's coming off of a season-ending injury. He's not going to be the Von Miller of old. If Von Miller can get 8 sacks, 9 sacks, that's a big time. That's a victory for him. That's a victory. If he can get there. Their secondary looks like it's a pretty decent secondary on paper. Not to mention they did draft who some people thought was the best defensive back coming out of college.
Boy.
So Patrick Surtain, I don't know if he's junior or if he's the second, but the Broncos are going to give any offense trouble throughout the entire. If they can stay healthy, they're going to give any offense trouble. We'll see.
They got a good safety too. They got a good safety with Justin Simmons.
Simmons and who's the other one? Jackson.
Kareem Jackson. Yeah, he's been a while. He's been in the league for a while, but Justin Simmons is the one who they paid big money to keep there. Good safety.
They will.
The Broncos could be my survivor pick for this week.
You better be careful. You may lose that one, JB.
Don't
do it.
You better be careful.
Don't do it.
Against the Giants?
You better be careful.
No Evan Ingram. Saquon getting 5 carries. Daniel Jones back there running for his life. Okay.
I am worried.
All right, what you got, Chris? What you think?
I'm really worried.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Joey. I don't think he gets back to that dominant level. I mean, 2 years, 2019, he had 8 sacks. Last year, season ending. So I think time is undefeated. So, but I still think he'll be good enough to, I still think getting him back is still a lift. I mean, he's still going to be a good player. And with the rest of those guys, the additions that they've made, I still think they can be a dominant defense. I think they can be one of the better defenses out there. Last year, I saw a stat where even without him, they were the 3rd best blitzing team in all of football last year. And now you add one of the best pass rushers over the last, 6-7 years, if, longer than that maybe. So, and they're deep, you talked about, they got Kyle Fuller's there now. Ronald Darby's there. So they're probably going to go, they can play with anybody with those, with those corners and those safeties. And now you got those two coming off the edge. So I think defensively, they're going to be dominant. It's just really going to come down to quarterback play with them. So they got, if you look at Denver's roster, they're pretty loaded, actually. It's just, if you had put an elite quarterback on that team, I think, they could definitely do some stuff. But, we've seen Bridgewater's just kind of at a below average, just kind of game manager type. So
and he's going to blow it up for you. Who's the coach for the Broncos?
Who is there?
He's an old Chicago Bears defensive coordinator.
Why haven't they fired him yet? Vic? Is it Vic something?
Oh, Fangio?
Fangio.
That's who it is.
Vic Fangio?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So do I think Von Miller? I say maybe. It's possible. Yes, time is undefeated, but Von Miller got hurt before the season started. So he has been chomping at the bit because whenever you're a great player like Von Miller, because Von Miller is a great player. Whenever you're a great player like him and you have an injury, you just really want to get back on the field to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah.
Like Joey, that you still got it, right? It's like Julio this year. Everybody's doubting Julio. Mm-hmm. Heck, I didn't even draft Julio in not one of my leagues, not even a best ball, because I was like, well, he may not have it anymore. Von Miller, he may not, but I wouldn't bet against him. Put it that way, right? I wouldn't bet against him getting double-digit sacks, maybe 10 sacks, right? He got 17 games, right? I mean, he gonna have 2 sacks week 1. Book it, all right? He gonna have 2 sacks week 1, so he gonna be on his way. So I give him a chance, right? I give him a chance. I think, like you both said, Denver's defense can be dominant. For me, it's a sleeper defense. It's one of the defenses that I targeted in most of my fantasy leagues, by the way.
There you go.
Especially with that week 1 matchup against the Giants, because in fantasy, you got to start fast.
Right about that.
Got to start fast.
I just want to see him dance. I want to see him dancing again. And
he'll be dancing week 1 on your boy. He'll be dancing.
He probably will dance a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the last question. Who must step up outside of Darren Waller in Vegas for this to be a good offense? Who must step up? Chris, who has to step up for the Raiders?
We'll see. I like Jacobs. I think that to me, he's steady. He's not necessarily a top 10 guy, so I wouldn't put it on Jacobs. To me, it's got to be Ruggs. They drafted him above, he was the first wideout taken, and he definitely pooped the bed last year. For me, he's a guy who a high draft pick. He's a typical Raiders guy that they love guys who light it up in the combine.
Darius Hayward Bay, Maryland.
Oh yeah, I mean they were. So to me, he's the guy who, right now, I mean, what's the projection on him is he's like, people are in fantasy. He's going undrafted in certain leagues. You know what I mean? So
yeah, last pick off the board.
I mean, so to me, that's the guy, because Waller, as good as he is, he can't do everything. And they let go of John Brown. Mm-hmm. Who's their second guy? Who was the guy?
Oh, Edwards. That's the one they've been. Brian Edwards. He had drafted last year too.
Yeah, he's the one that everyone's hyping up. So
Derek Carr compared him to Devontae Adams.
Oh, really? So, geez.
Yes, because remember Derek Carr played with Devontae in college.
I mean, he's even sleeping on Ruggs basically. I mean, we'll see, but to me, I think Ruggs is the guy who has to put up more numbers of closer to what he's expecting, and not just be really that's kind of what he is at this point, a Darius Hayward Bay. That's not a comparison you want, for your career, but really, is he just a take the top off kind of guy who is protected in Alabama with so much other weapons around him, Mm-hmm. So he's definitely not a complete receiver yet. So we'll see if he can actually get there, but that's the guy to me who's got to step it up.
Okay, so for me, the person who must step up is definitely 2 people, really, outside of the receivers. It's the offensive coordinator, because the coordinators in Vegas seem to be confused sometimes. They don't know what they want to do, right? They seem to have no clue what's going on. In terms of the game, clock management, whatever. But then it has to be Derek Carr. Derek Carr needs to be more of an enigma. Stop being an enigma. Like, he can look like an awesome quarterback one series, then the next series on the field. Like, what is he thinking? You got dudes wide open. He won't throw the ball to him. So I think it's really Derek Carr. With the young receivers, he has an opportunity to step up. Right, Waller is his safety blanket. Honestly, I don't think they threw the ball to Waller enough.
Right.
Really, I don't think he gets the ball enough. Waller is a mismatch walking. If you put him in the middle in a slot, who guarding him? A safety, a linebacker, a nickel? Half of them not fast enough, and they're definitely not big enough. Right, and they don't throw the ball, and then their red zone offense is atrocious. You go back and watch Raiders games in the red zone. It's horrible. Their play calling is terrible. So it's Derek Carr, the coordinator, and the receivers, right? Because the receivers can top off. You want to leave all that room in the middle of the field for Darren Waller to operate, because that's your main guy. You want to make sure the other guys are reasonable enough that they get open and they can cause a threat. No threat. What happens? What do they do with the safeties, Joey? Closer to the line of scrimmage, clogging up the middle, that's right? It. So, I mean, it's definitely Derek Carr, right, to me, and the OC. I know I sound crazy, but yeah, it's definitely the OC. Call some better plays.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
All right.
Who got Joey? Joey didn't get an answer there. JB.
Oh,
he's like,
my bad. That's my fault,
okay,
man.
I got two things for you.
Two things for me? Okay, my fault.
John Gruden.
Old Chucky.
Mike Mayock.
Oh God.
Oh, that was my boy on it.
Mike, that's Chris's boy. He has been an awful GM since he's been hired. John Gruden has been an awful coach since he's been hired. I think they're just going on this swag that they got. Mayock was unbelievable on NFL Network. Unbelievable. John Gruden is just a happy, fun-loving guy that everyone likes. I don't know if he was really that good when he was on Monday Night Football. The Raiders have they been, is it me or have they been on a slide since they got blown out in the Super Bowl in 2002?
Yeah.
They had one winning season since that Super Bowl. One. They had been atrocious. You can argue they may be the worst franchise in the league since they lost that Super Bowl. How many playoff appearances since that? One playoff appearance since that Super Bowl, possibly. They are an awful franchise. Awful. I like the move to Vegas. I definitely do, but they've got to get people in there that know what they are freaking doing, and not just people that sound good. They need to get someone in there that knows what they are doing. When Mayock stops blowing drafts and stops drafting, his drafts have been awful. And when Gruden gets better as far as just being an overall leader, Vegas will be a better football team. They are so overrated. Those two, not the actual team, those two right now.
Those two guys are
very overrated. Very overrated, and no one's.
Well, what did they pay? Didn't Gruden make like $100 million? It was like something crazy money.
Who is he? But he's not Belichick.
No,
he's not Andy Reid. He's not even Sean McVay. Why is he making that much money? My goodness, they need to. The Super Bowl that he won was a long time ago. It's time to move on from that. That was a long time ago. Now let's move on from what he did with Tony Dungy's team. Bottom line.
Well, I just seen an article here on NFL.com ranking all 32 starters into the NFL season. This guy has ranked a player in the top 12 that has gone undrafted in many fantasy leagues. You want to guess who he is?
David Carr.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
They have Derek Carr ranked 11 ahead of Brian, Stafford, Mayfield, Cousins. So why is the guy going undrafted?
And why is it that every year there's news coming from the Raiders front office? Oh, is this the year that they're going to trade Derek Carr? Are they going to do it, or are they not going to? I mean, my goodness, that's just the foolishness and the malarkey that comes from the front office and goes down to the main guy.
And they got your boy Herbert. They got Herbert ranked ahead of Dak. And they got
Joey don't want to hear that.
I'll see it when I believe that.
Yeah, see it when you believe it. All right. So let's get to these. Just break down these win totals.
All right. Yeah. So first up, got Denver at 8.5. Joey.
Over.
I'll take that over. JB.
We all went to over.
Uh-oh.
I think they'll win. They can win. They can go 500. I believe that. Right.
All right. Kansas City, 12.5. Joey?
Over.
I'm going with the under. I got them at 12-5.
I got over.
Oh, okay.
13-4.
All right. Okay.
Under.
Vegas.
Under.
7.5, Joey.
I have Vegas clear. I have them over. Vegas will win more than 8
games.
than 7 games.
I actually got them. I'm with Joey. I got the under.
Okay.
I got them at 7 wins from me.
Okay. What about the Chargers?
Chargers 9.5, Joey.
Over.
Thinking about it.
I got the over as well.
I got the over.
That's a tough one. I can see them going.
All right, division winners. We even need to get into this. Everyone's got.
Yeah, let's move on. The millions don't.
No, we got everybody. All of us believe that this is a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. That
the Kansas City Chiefs will win the division. All right, now it's time for the fun. It's what some of y'all been waiting on. I was in Texas. I got a phone call. Man, can you break down our teams on CJ Squared? I'm like, why not? I'll tell you your teams aren't good. There's no problem for me.
You're like, oh, I'll be glad to.
I'll be glad to tell you the facts about your squad. All right. So let's see. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right. This is the league. The league. It's all it is, called the league, you know.
Rough league.
And we'll go with first team. We'll break down. Ooh, somebody's adding players already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, J-Man wins. Added the Denver Broncos defense for week 1 against the Giants. I told you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And unlike Joey, I won't see it when I believe it. I believe it when I see it. Okay. All right. So we're gonna break down. We're gonna start with our league champion from last year, Big DS. All right. Big DS told me that they said that his team was his grade was an A, and they said that his team would finish 12-2.
Oh my.
Jeez.
All right. So I'm gonna let you break this one down, Joey. We're gonna talk about a strength, a weakness, and what you think. What do you see in terms of their record, right? I mean, we don't have I'm not gonna pull out the projections that the site does or anything like that because we'll be here all day. But just give it a quick once over and tell me what you think.
Well,
so we got while you analyze, I'll read over the squad, okay?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we got his quarterback, Kyler Murray. He got Alvin Kamara and Ronald Jones. He has Justin Jefferson, Chase Claypool, Jamar Chase, and Devontae Adams in his flex for this week. On his bench, he has Jameis. He has David Johnson. He handcuffed Tony Alvin Kamara with Tony Jones, which was pretty smart. He has the other running back from Houston besides what's his name, Mark Ingram, and he has Trey Sermon and Rondale Moore. Your boy Chris picked up Justin Tucker as his kicker, San Fran D, Burns, White, and Chin. He went all in NFC South defensive players. So what do you think, Joey?
Not so fast, my friend. I don't know about double-digit wins for Big DS. I think he is a little weak at. I mean, he's got one of the top 3 as far as fantasy running backs go, but Ronald Jones is going to be splitting carries. Ronald Jones does not catch the ball out of the backfield at all. He definitely, between Jefferson and Devontae Adams, dominance. That is going to be a real problem there. Not to mention Claypool is one of those guys going over the top, a deep threat, could possibly get double-digit touchdowns. But I don't like Ronald Jones in here. I mean, there may be games that Ronald Jones may get him less than 5 points. So not so fast, my friend. I don't think this is by any means a dominant lineup that would get you a record of 12-4. I'm definitely
12-2 for the regular season.
12-2 regular season. I don't see 12 wins coming out of this roster.
Okay. All right. All righty. So on to the runner-up. Oh, I wonder who this is. It's Chris. All right. Since Joey, so Chris, did you get your grade from NFL Network? What did they give you?
I think I got a B, but the wins wasn't great. I think I was like six wins, maybe. I think.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Okay, so I'm gonna break down Chris's team, right? Chris, I know Chris went real early on his quarterback. He already went over his theory. In this league, since he already had he kept a good running back. I think it was a good idea, a smart play on his part to do that, to lock up that quarterback who can change the whole trajectory of a week, right? I think his running backs are really solid with his boy Mandatory Montgomery and Antonio Gibson. I mean, Chris is going to have David Montgomery and Allen Robinson. Is just a foregone conclusion, right? I mean, he locked it up. Now, for me, the biggest question marks for me are his flex with Javonte Williams, because right now there's a possibility that he could be splitting carries with Melvin Gordon. If he hits his ceiling, then Chris could have a league winner. But if Melvin Gordon splits carries with him the rest of the year, it could be a problem. And Chris already knows I don't like his second wide receiver, Tyler Lockett. If this was a full point PPR, I would like him a lot more. But since we are in this is a half point PPR league. Tyler Lockett is going to be real touchdown dependent. Like last year, beginning of the year, he was the man, right? He's getting touchdowns, big yards. And then he, like y'all said, Russ fell off a cliff. He was right behind him, like that Price is Right game with the top. They go to the top, the yodeling. Yeah. They go up there, and all of a sudden they all fall off. That's what they did, right? Now, of course, Curtis Samuel is a sleeper. He did get some, good backup wide receivers in Brown and Myers. Could have a decent year with Matt Jones. He have some upside running backs, some good handcuffs. Let's see, we got a kicker. He got a kicker on a strong offense, which is good. Yep. He has real good defensive players. I mean, I don't see you going 6-8. I can see you going more like I can see like 9-5, 8-6, right? In that range, because this is a tough league. And every week's going to be a challenge for everybody especially when the buys come. So overall, I give you, for your draft and what's going on, I give you a B plus as well, to be honest, because you did get 3 good backs. This is a real running back exquisite league. If you got good running backs, you can win this league. You don't have to have good running backs, but if you got good running backs, you always are putting yourself in position to compete. All right. So that's my breakdown of Chris. So guess what? We get to do 3rd place, and that was me. So y'all get to break JB down. Chris, did you want to, before we break down my squad, did you want to kind of go over what your mindset was of your team?
When I was breaking down the numbers based on where I was drafting, and me and JB had extensive talks on looking at how the draft was going to play out. it was going to fall where I was drafting at 11, and with it being keepers, it was going to fall off right at that moment to where I was picking, because they knew there was kind of elite guys. So to me, I had Josh Jacobs as a keeper, and I think he's good, but for my squad being that the first 2 rounds, and I needed to make a splash and maybe a guy who could go out and maybe win me a couple games here and there. And so I was kind of walking away going, okay, if I can get Allen and still compete. And then also another hope was that last year this screwed me because of the way that Jacobs and Drake didn't help play out as keepers. But I know in this league, if you can get a good running backs for years to come, I would have Gibson, Montgomery, and Williams. Those 3 are guys that, and even Allen, if he continues to do what he's doing, that would give me. And for me, Tannehill was just a guy who I have an exceptional backup. Last 2 years, I've had my 2 quarterbacks go down within the first 3 weeks. So I knew I wasn't burned because I wasted my 12th pick on Tannehill, which is a lot of value. And I knew I could manage to do that and basically just draft normal. I figure my team is about an 8 or 9 win team, but last year I won 8 games and made it to the final. So really my goal is just make it to the playoffs. And we always know you never know once you get in there. So really I think mine is a high floor, low ceiling guy unless Allen repeats, but I'm fine with that. Just the way it played out. I'm good with that,
Cool. All right. Let's break down, let you break down my squad. Let's see me. Turn it to me. Can you see can you see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So to me, you were kind of like, you were right before me where we had said that you were going to get one of the last 4 kind of round 1 guys. So, where you drafted, I would have done the same thing with Chubb. And then I think you took Jacobs on the way back, and I would have done the same thing and locked up 2, because you didn't at that point. You don't have to reach. You don't have to reach for anybody because you're just playing solid all the way through. You already had Robinson way late, which is a ridiculous keeper. That's probably the best keeper value we have on there. So you don't have to reach for anything else. And the same with Ridley. You were set up so good with the keepers that now you can go out and you get solid everywhere else. Ridley, we've talked about, could go off. Allen is like a number 1 on most teams. And you have him as, your second wide receiver, and Thielen is a strong number 2. So, and then we already know what Rodgers, even if Rodgers falls back a little bit, he's still a top 10 quarterback. So for me, you're solid everywhere. Chenault, again, I don't think with him being if it was a full point, he'd be even better because, he's going to catch a ton of passes. AJ Dillon is flying up boards, I guess, because they just think there's going to be touches to be had there. So, you kind of draft how I do a lot of times, where you just say, I want to focus on depth and just kind of like let the draft play out as it is, and then see what's there. And then I don't see really any reaches or anything. So, and then Callaway, that seems to be your boy this year because you've taken him a couple of times, and I don't blame you because, at least until Thomas comes back, he's going to be the guy. And then if he can kind of build that relationship, who knows? So, and we know Winston loves to sling it. So, and then Crosby on Green Bay, you've already talked about how good Denver is. They're going to be solid every week.
Yes, New York first week.
The only
yum.
The only issue with Denver is going to be, because that offense is so bad, are they just going to be on the field, more than you would hope? But still, they're an elite defense. Aaron Donald, again, you're loaded everywhere. So I think you got a team that could definitely win. Just looking at it, and having Robinson and Ridley is huge. To me, you played the keepers perfectly with the value. I think some of these other guys, when I looked at it, it's not necessarily the thing that I would have done. But I think you played it perfectly. I may have gone Dak just because of the value where you were getting him over Robinson, but I can't argue about because it's such a running back league. I can't argue that either. So, I don't necessarily, the weakness is just, I don't really see necessarily a weakness on there. And that's maybe Rodgers falls off a little bit. Chubb was good last year, but, maybe if Hunt comes in and steals stuff, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's still some question marks, but as a whole, you're a pretty solid squad. So,
Hey, Joy, ready to pounce.
I'm ready.
Well, I kind of the only pick that for me, the only pick that I was kind of worried about is Josh Jacobs one, but in my big board, and it's such a running back, exquisite league where running backs get a half a point per touch. Jacobs has had games when he has 30 rushes, right?
Yeah.
And, even with Drake there, 20 rushes now, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to go with the guy who's going to get the touches and go from there.
Well, there were times last year he was like the 5th or 6th guy, and he didn't even have a monster season just because he just so involved in that offense. So.
Yes. Yeah. And then, I did pick up Zach Moss because, eventually Buffalo is going to realize they got to run the ball. They want to win to beat Kansas City. And I did have one throwaway pick, James White. I'm probably going to drop him and pick somebody else up. But I think with Mac Jones, he may still have some relevance, and everything else is kind of fell that way. The Callaway pick, today they were talking about how Callaway has shot up to the boards in these other leagues, his big money leagues in the 8th round, because he's the number one in New Orleans right now.
Yeah.
Right. It's him and Kamara, and Winston is already finding them. So, getting them in the late round, I think I got him in round 13 in this league and something like that. So, yeah. This league is always difficult, but I make the playoffs almost every year. So I'm looking forward to trying to make the playoffs again. Hey. All right, let's break down the Nutty Professor's team real quick. Let's see, the Nutty Professor. Let's see. That's Adam, the Professor. Did I go yet? Oh, I did go, right?
Yeah.
Joey, you went first, right?
I did.
All right, you break the Professor's team down. What do you think? I don't know what the Professor's thing said, but what do you see?
I don't have his grade. He is favored in week 1 as of right now.
And is he going against Chris?
No. I don't know who he's going against. Let me check that out. Professor is
right here in the game. It's right here in the game.
Yeah, Chris.
He's going against Chris.
Yes. It is Chris. It is Chris. Right down.
Dang it.
Going against Chris. All right, break it down. Break it down.
Well, that's cool. Well, Chris has Curtis Samuel, and he's got some injury issues, so they don't know if he's going to be playing on Sunday. So Chris loses points there. He's gonna have to
now break it down in matchup. We breaking down Adam's team.
Yeah, Adam's team is a decent team. I love his quarterback. He has a great running back combination between Derrick Henry and Eckler. I don't love his receivers. Cooper Kupp, great. T. Higgins, we don't know what's going to happen with the Cincinnati offense. They are if you have a Cincinnati wideout, one thing, you're going to be throwing the ball a whole freaking lot because they're going to be behind in every single game. So that is a positive. And the same thing goes. I don't love Davis for the Jets, but the Jets are going to be behind in most of their games as well. That's their big free agent pickup. So maybe Davis will go beyond expectations. Will be the expectations that I have for the Jets offense. Henderson looks like he's going to be the number one guy in the Rams backfield. They did trade for Michelle. So maybe Michelle, since he's going to be late to the party, is going to be maybe put in there just a little tiny bit. But overall, I think the professor has a pretty decent squad here.
All right, I gotta jump in real quick for you. The professor, he is very top heavy. He is an injury away from disaster.
At quarterback?
No, not at quarterback, because you can always pick somebody up off of waivers. Everybody didn't get drafted.
Well, he's got.
But look at his bench.
Ryan, so.
Look at his bench. He got one running back on his bench.
Just one.
And then he got, for some reason, in a league when you don't even got to draft a tight end, he has two.
Yeah, he does.
Right.
He's
so
he's hoping and praying.
Name to.
Yeah.
He's hoping and praying.
Yeah.
You know, so he got kicker, he got the Baltimore Ravens defense. He got some good options. I mean, he's top heavy, right? Like you said, his major weakness is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then, you know, and he got a good QB, he got probably one of the best running backs in the league. He got a high floor guy, Darrell Henderson. Beginning of the year going to be the man, but many believe that Sonny Michel will take over that position.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, guys, let's break down just two more, and then we'll get the other ones next time we meet. Because if not, we'll be here all night.
Got to go to work.
Like, not even earlier than Joey, right? You gotta get before,
go
right?
work.
Yeah, gotta go to work. All right. So Joey, Professor, what do you see? What do you see? Like, what do you think in terms of for what you got? Just give me an overall projection of his squad. What do you think? Playoffs? Yes or no?
I say yes.
Okay. All right. I say, for me personally, I think he is a playoff team, but he does not have any depth, right? And he better be ready to work the waiver wire correctly, because he must have put on an auto draft or something, because he made some questionable picks at the end. All right. So since we are trying to move a little faster, we're gonna break down C double. I'm gonna let Chris break down C double, and I'm gonna break down the hot one, and we're gonna call it a night. All right. You get C double, Chris. What do you think about C double squad?
Gaskin must be his boy, right?
He's a Dolphins fan too.
So yeah. Yeah, I think I remember when he drafted, I thought Mark he loves some Mark Andrews, because that's, I think, the second time. So I think he's gone at him. Let me see.
I'll look it up on the other one.
Juju, I think, probably is his weakness, but even him, I still think he's he's not as good in a half point PPR. Mike Evans is a guy who is a boom or bust guy.
Definitely.
You know, Swift is a high ceiling guy. So I think there's going to be weeks where he just goes off looking at this roster, when a couple guys, Mark Andrews, the same thing. Mark Andrews is another high ceiling guy. I think that he's going to have weeks where he's just going to go crazy, and then he's just going to have weeks where, you know, there's not going to be as much consistency. I would say he's a high floor and or high ceiling, low floor type of team right here. So, but with that being said, I think that's a team that you don't want to see in the playoffs, because he has a chance to go off against anybody. So I think he can make it with this team. I mean, everyone generally looks pretty good. Let me see I like Miles Sanders at on the bench.
Mm-hmm. I do
Michael
too.
Thomas,
I told him that.
Can he go? Michael Thomas, would that be allowed to be on the IR?
No, he's on. I don't know. I mean, if I don't think so. It just says pup.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, another one, Waddle is going to be another high ceiling guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Mayfield, he just seems, this whole team is kind of like we already talked about with Hardman. Somebody's got to step up there as their number two, other than Kelsey. You know, I mean, because you don't want that. But I think that this is a guy who he's loaded on the defensive name wise.
Bosa, Leonard, and Adams.
All those guys get hurt.
But they all get hurt all the time, though.
Yeah. So to me, he's a guy who, this looking at his team, you don't want to necessarily face. You'll be nervous to face, but I think there's going to be some dud weeks in there.
Mm-hmm.
But also, he's going to have weeks where he's scoring 220 something and everything comes together.
Yeah.
You know, because he just got a high ceiling guy. Smith, Schuster, Mike Evans, Gaskin, all those guys can just go off. So he's a guy where in the playoffs you don't want to face him, you know, because you're looking at he can put up a 220.
Yeah. Yeah. He did. I told him he did. I told him I really like the way he stacked that Miles Sanders because that gives him a fourth running back.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it gives him a lot of options to always have that. I love the 3 running back stack. That's my thing. I hate to have a receiver in the flex. I hate that. I'd rather have a running back every time,
right?
Especially when it's going to get touches. So, but you know, he got, you said, high ceiling, but you never know. You know, he got Swift and Sanders. He got Joy's boy Herbert gonna put up numbers. So yeah, I think I don't know, but I think he said his projection. They said, I don't know. He might have said like 5 and 9 or something. They gave him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's better than that, I would think. But
at least it wasn't his. At least it wasn't his one he got in the CJ Squared Friends and Family that 1 in 13.
Yeah, I mean, this one I think was better than that one. I think in this one he stayed kind of true to where guys should be drafted and didn't kind of go off. But I think, you know, there's some question marks like with Swift. You don't know what Swift's going to be. You know what I mean? But I think with Miles Sanders, I think he's going to get touches. I actually might start Sanders over Gaskin, but and just who Gaskin's going to be.
Yeah, the NFL thing they had Sanders is a must start for week 1. All right. So let me break down Rod's team, and then last thing we're gonna do for tonight is do our college pick'em because we got to do that, right? So Rod's team, right? So I know Rodney wants me to be honest about his squad. Rodney, if you're watching, I got bad news for you, bro. Okay. Okay. I like the fact that you got Russell Wilson, great quarterback. And you know, I think really I don't think you should have kept CEH in that first round. You should just let him fall to that second round. You could have had Nick Chubb, right? He could have had Nick Chubb, Chris, instead of me getting him.
Yeah.
Right. Or he could have had one of them other players, but he kept CEH. So I think that right there was not a good move. And then, I mean, he's light in the pants at running back. Right, his flex running back is Melvin Gordon, and Melvin Gordon, as we all know, may not be the starter for that long. Right, he's on that same Jimmy Garoppolo, Andy Dalton type deal. Right, his time is coming, and it may come before we realize it. So, and you got Tyreek Hill, possibly and you got Terry McLaurin. So he has some high ceiling guys.
Yep.
But he does have some guys who, you know, they can have, like Tyreek Hill is the reason he was up there as one of the top fantasy options because he had those monstrous weeks.
Yeah.
Right. He's really not the number 1 in Kansas City. It's really Travis Kelce. Right. So I mean, I don't like this team. I don't like the depth, especially at running back. I don't like that you got Devontae Parker as your third wide receiver. He probably better off starting Boyd, Chark, or Smith. He got his boy Tua at quarterback. I mean, definitely the weaknesses are definitely the running backs here. Russell Wilson is going to be a top 12 quarterback. If Damian Harris hits, you know, but you never know with that Belichickery. You never know what's going to happen.
Never know.
Right? You never know. So, I mean, this draft, I probably would give Rodney probably a C, right? I can see him finishing a little bit above 500. possibly making the playoffs. Obviously, this league is, I don't know what in the NFL.com thing they see, because they said I would finish 5th with a 6-8 record and make the playoffs. So I don't understand that, right? This is year 9. I've only had 2 losing seasons, and one of those seasons I still made the playoffs. So I don't know, but we're gonna see. Rod, I give you a C. Good luck. The rest of the teams, we'll break you down this weekend as the games are going on, as your players are playing. So don't worry.
I look at his. I think he's one player. He's a running back away. I think if you move Melvin Gordon to your depth and your bench, and you have an extra guy, maybe one more elite runner. He's missing a guy, because Damian Harris should be the flex to me.
Yeah.
So that's to me where he's at. He's one player. He's a guy away, I guess.
Yep. All right, you one guy away there, Hot.
One guy.
You may get him off waivers. Who knows, right? You've shown that you have gotten better over the years. So good luck. I know in the Friends and Fantasy League, week 1, you about to get beaten, so I understand. I think you playing me week 1 in the Friends and Family, and I don't know, man. I think it could be a beatdown for you in that league. Okay, all right. So one last thing, we've been on for a long time tonight, and I know y'all like, oh, you getting tired? We're gonna do this quick college pick'em, right? We're supposed to have some guests this evening, but it didn't work out that way because one person obviously doesn't know how to check emails or a calendar invite, and the other person has some other things going on, but that person did send me his picks.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
And what I said was, well, I would invite if Chris C Double can beat all 3 of us every week, the next week he can come back.
Oh man, that's pressure.
Okay.
But as soon as we beat you, CB, deuces. All right. So yeah, last week was terrible. Terrible. All right, I'm leaving it at that.
Terrible.
Not even talking. It was terrible for everybody. Nobody was over 50%. Man, I was at 8%. 8%. Joey, he was better than me, but he still stunk. Terrible.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go, fellas, and I'm going to write it down for you guys. First game, we got Oregon versus Ohio State. Ohio State minus 14. Chris, who you got?
Give me Ohio State.
All right, 12. It's a 12 p.m. game. Joy, who you got?
The Ohio State University.
Ohio State. All right, I guess I'm the lone wolf. I'm always taking my chances. I'm gonna take Oregon. All right, Iowa versus Iowa State. Big matchup.
Big matchup.
These 2 matchups are big. I think it's me and Chris in both matchups,
Both
right?
of them, yeah.
Both of them. I got both for the underdogs, I think. So in my pick for the Iowa versus Iowa State game, Iowa State is giving up 4 points. I got the Hawkeyes. Who you got, Joey?
Give me the Hawkeyes.
I'm done.
Iowa State will win, but it will be
a close one by a field goal. Okay, I like that. All right.
I gotta go Iowa State here just because that's I need to. Hopefully, I can root them into winning there.
All right, Chris. Pitt and Tennessee. Tennessee is getting 3.5.
Give me Pitt.
All right. Who you got, Joey?
Give me Tennessee. Ain't no way they're going to let this happen again. They didn't cover in their last game. I almost picked it, but it's going to be different this time.
I picked Tennessee, unfortunately, as well. All right. So Air Force versus Navy. I picked the Air Force.
I'll take Air Force.
You got Joey?
I'll take the
Falcons. You got Air Force too, Chris?
Yeah, Air Force.
Well.
Air Force as well. Like looks like Chris is a lone wolf on that one. This what y'all know. For the first 4 picks, Chris had Iowa. He had Ohio State, Iowa State, Tennessee, and Navy. All right, App State versus Miami, Florida. Miami, Florida giving up 8 points. Right, the lines changed since this, but we're going with the lines I got because we're not going to do that. Right, we're not going to keep on flip flopping. So App State versus Miami. I think Miami's going to have a big bounce back game and blow these guys out. Joey, who you got?
They are mad.
Bounce back. Miami?
Miami.
Chris was got App State. I see his face. He analyzed it. It's his squad. It's his team. It's a big matchup.
Yeah, because
Joey has Miami, right, Joey?
This is mine and Joey. So, but I'm a Miami fan, but I got App State. So maybe my Miami still because then I got give me App State.
I got you. All right. So Mizzou versus those D's from Kentucky. Who you got? Chris?
Give me Kentucky.
Kentucky is giving up 5.
No, give me Missouri.
Okay. Joey?
Give me Kentucky. There's Graham Park personnel down there.
Yeah, I hope so. He's still in the team. All right. I got Kentucky as well. All right. So next game, Washington versus Michigan. Another big matchup.
This is not good.
This is a good matchup for conference games, right? Maybe I can get a dub here, even if it doesn't cover the spread. We got Washington versus Michigan. Michigan giving up 6. I got the Fighting Harbaughs. Who you got, Joey?
Give me the Fighting Khakis.
Yeah, give me the Fighting Khakis also. Washington just looks bad.
All right. Chris picked Washington. All right. Texas versus Arkansas. Ooh, a border battle. Who you got? Chris.
Texas.
Ooh, Texas.
Hook 'em horn.
All right.
Hook 'em horn.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, Chris is the lone wolf on this one.
He's on the island.
Yeah, on the island. We all got them long horns. All right. The Battle of the Mormons. We got Utah versus BYU. I got the Fighting Cougars. Who you got, Joey? It's Utah, BYU +7, by the way.
Upsets coming. Give me BYU.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take BYU.
Oh, okay. That's everybody got the Cougars there. All right, we got Rutgers versus Syracuse, the old Big East battle. I got and Rutgers is giving 2 points to the Qs. I got Rutgers. I think they having a resurgence this year.
I'll go Rutgers.
Greg Schiano, Rutgers.
You know, Rutgers, the only team in the NFL that makes any good of Rutgers players is the Belichick's. He will get a Rutgers player and turn him into a Pro Bowler. All right, we got the Fighting Faldwells versus Troy. I'm taking the Libs. Who you got, Joey?
Give me Liberty, or give me.
What was the line? 4?
The line is Troy +5. Troy is getting 5. So Liberty -5.
I'll take Troy.
Oh, even though Liberty is your team. All right, the bonus one.
That's Joey's squad.
Oh, that's Joey's squad. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the bonus. The upset-minded Tulsa team that lost by 5 to the Sooners last week is a 13.5 point dog to oh my God, the fighting mullets. So I'm taking Tulsa.
I'll go Oak State.
Give me those fighting mullets as
Give me the fighting mullets.
Fighting mullets. All right. So gonna break this down. Hot one, you had no picks. Good job. All right. So that's our long show for this evening. We kind of made up for Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. I was out of town, had stuff going on. So, long show. We'll be back Sunday doing some of the games, having some conversations, and talking about something different, right? Because we got plenty of topics to talk about. Joey, what you got for them for this evening? Keep it short and sweet. I know you gotta go to bed.
Merry NFL Eve to everybody. Tuck yourselves in. Leave cookies out for
cookies and milk
for the NFL claws who will be here tomorrow night. Merry NFL Eve to everybody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll second that. I'm pumped for some and I don't even have a rooting interest. JB's probably really pumped because
oh yes.
And unfortunately Zach Martin, what's gonna happen with that? But
that's you know what? I felt bad for Joey because he's the one that has Zeke going against probably the nastiest run defense in the league. So, hey, I'm just excited. Football is here. Fantasy football is here. We got college football going on. It's just so much excitement. And not to forget that Major League Baseball is getting into October. Basketball's around the corner. Man, what a time to be alive. Right? I love sports, right? So this is what it's all about. It's like a smorgasbord of what's going on, right? I wonder how my boy's doing in the tennis. Is my boy about to win that 21st match? 21st Grand Slam?
Joker is getting closer.
And closer.
Joker is in. He is winning in the third set. He's about to be up 2-1 in the quarterfinals. He'll be getting ready to move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, I know a lot of upsets happen especially on the girls' side.
Yeah,
but
the women's side.
Happy like Joey and Chris said, happy NFL Eve. How about them Cowboys? I'm ready. I'm pumped. And even if we lose tomorrow, we will still win the NFC East, so no worries. So no worries. Hey, watch the show, learn something. You still got time for a few more best balls or drafts before the game tomorrow. I'll be doing at least one or two. One or two best balls, get one more draft in. And so much stuff going on. Watch your waivers for this week. Listen to see what's going on. Don't wait to the last minute to make your changes, right? Be proactive, not reactive, and have a good evening, everybody. Deuces.
Is the milk and cooking?